Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Rebecca, would you please call the roll?
Flournoy.
Here.
Hallie.
Yes.
Anderson. Gandy.
Here.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Council, any additions to this evening's agenda? If not, we'll move to our consent agenda. And then we have approval of minutes from the March 11th council meeting, approval of the March 22nd payroll of $132,415.64. We have acceptance of the minutes from the Wayfinding Commission, Library Board, and Beautification Commission, approval of the February Finance Report, a resolution of employment in Park and Recreation Department, where we're taking on 4 summertime part-time positions, approval of liquor licenses for Pizza Hut 2, Americ Inn, Fairfield Golf and Country Club, the Veterans Club, Quality Quick Stop, Come and Go, Store 134, and finally approval of claims in the amount of $1,165,734.98, of which PKG Contracting is being awarded $1,037,409.50 for their work at the construction of the sewer treatment plant, sewer treatment plant, wastewater. Any questions regarding those consent agenda items? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So
Moved by Thompson.
Second.
Second by Rasmussen. Any discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Council, there are no public appearances this evening. We'll move then to our resolutions and action items and ordinances. And the first will be a public hearing on the proposed sanitary sewer improvements on Libertyville Road. And do we have a representative? Yes, Steve Pedrick from French Rent-A-Car.
Yes.
Good evening, Steve.
I've got, you guys should all have a copy of the letter that I wrote in your packet. I'll just try to kind of give you the cliff notes of the letter. The purpose of this letter is to try to get all these documents on 3 pages, and I'll try to get it to you even quicker in my review here. So, the project is about 6,300 linear feet of 8-inch diameter gravity sewer. It starts, goes along Highway 1. It goes about 3,500 feet west from Casey's is where it is. The project is both north and south of the road, primarily in the backyards of the houses on both sides. There's 20 manholes on the project and about 1,800 linear feet of laterals. Sliding down to the contract details, today obviously is the public hearing for the project, and bids are due on April 4th. The completion date for the project is October 31st of 19, the substantial completion date, which means that the sewer is in operation. All the seeding might not be done at that time, but the final cleanup and seeding will be May 29th of 2020. Insurance limits, we're using the same thing that we have in the past with the city of Fairfield. That's all been coordinated with Melanie and Aaron. And the city obviously will be named as an additional assured on those policies. Then some special requirements in this project. I'm guessing that Ragbri is probably going to be coming in on Libertyville Road. So there will be no work on the project July 25th or 26th. So hopefully everything will be cleaned up and ready for that. Rights of way and easements and permits. As you all know, this has been kind of the sticking point on this project. The city has acquired all the easements that are necessary, and we believe we've coordinated everything so that we've got it all in accordance with what the easement documents say. Sliding down, we already talked about cleanup and final items. The project does have a 2-year warranty period, so after completion, there'll be a 2-year warranty period on the project. And then the last page on page 3, pitfalls. I don't always cover all this stuff, but since this is all almost entirely on private property, I thought there were a couple items that we should probably highlight just so the council's aware. There's going to be grass that's disturbed in people's backyards, trees that are disturbed. You'll probably get complaints. Just, we'll work through it together. We'll all communicate and stay on top of everything. It's going to be ugly during construction, but I think we've all been through these before, so we'll work through it. So guess if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Didn't all the landscaping get taken care of in the negotiations? Or are you talking about damage outside of the negotiated?
I'm talking about, right, yeah. And I'm talking about, I mean, the city is replacing the grass seed, you know, and so there's always going to be something that comes up, you know, that maybe. But the contractor is responsible for restoring the grass to a similar condition as what's out there now, so.
Thanks, Steve. Can you comment on the difference between alternate 1 and alternate 2?
Yeah, sorry, I left that out. So the city is receiving 2 different bids essentially on the bid day. Alternate 1 is for a majority of the project to be constructed by open cut, basically digging a trench to install all the pipe. Alternate 2 is for a majority of the pipe to be installed by boring. And the reason we did that is there are some sections that have to be bored due to how deep they are and how close they are to the homes and the right-of-way space that we have. And so we wanted to just kind of compare those apples to apples, and then the city will be able to select. Most likely you'll go with the lower one, obviously, but you know, whichever one's the more economical. So.
Okay. And then as far as what the council's approving tonight, you said we'll be receiving bids on the 4th. Is it going to come back to council after that, or is this essentially approving something within the budget scope?
So the bids will be back on April 4th, and most likely, I think it's the April 8th will be your council meeting, that you should have a low bidder and a recommendation and be able to award the contract at that point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve. Questions, council, for him? We'll open the public hearing at this time and ask if there is anyone for the public who would like to comment on the proposed Libertyville sewage project. Okay. Now we'll close the public hearing. Council entertain a motion to approve the project improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Gandy, second by Flournoy. Any other discussion? Not, please call the roll.
Gandy.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, council, we have plans, specifications, drawings regarding our 2 airport projects, Phase 1 and Phase 2. And I think Melanie is going to address along with Robert. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about the Phase 1, 2, what exactly is going to happen. Melanie can answer the questions on the financial end of it. But what we're doing is Phase 1 is an FAA grant, Phase 2 is a state grant. And the Phase 1 is I call them the throats, the entryways into the hangars. And the state takes care of that, and the FAA takes care of the actual taxiways. And then we're doing a little bit of work on the runway that's got some cracks. It's about 9 panels that have to be replaced. That's it.
As Phase 2? That's
Phase
all-
1.
That's
is
all
the-
Phase 1. Okay,
Is the panels on the runway.
great.
Anything else I can answer anybody's questions?
Thank you, Robert.
The Phase 1 project is a rebid from last year. Last year, this came in, we had one bidder. It was about 33% over the estimate. So CMT kind of thought that there were a few things that needed to be clarified in the specs as well as the timing of the bid. So we've bid the project earlier than we did last year and coupled it. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are going to come in on the same day, a half an hour apart from each other, so that there would be an opportunity for someone to get a larger project with 2 of these. And so we hope that that will bring the Phase 1 bids down closer to the estimate. The engineer's estimate for construction on Phase 1 is $356,112.50. And as Bob said, that's 90% funding. The Phase 2 project has a construction estimate of $148,348, and that's an 85% grant.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie. Any questions for our city engineer? Not, this, we'll take the approval of the first taxiway, first Phase 1, or rather the panel replacements. And we'll open the public hearing at this time and ask if there's any comment on the project. Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and move to approval of the drawings, plans, specifications for Phase 1?
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Flournoy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Then we'll open the public hearing on the Phase 2, which is the reconstruct the taxiway to the T-hangars. Ask if there's any comment from the public. If not, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the drawing specifications contract for Phase 2.
So moved.
Moved by Gandy,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. Discussion. Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same sign. Okay. Thank you very much. Next, council, we have consideration of the nuisance abatement schedule of assessments, and there are 7 nuisance abatements that are listed. This is actually over a 2-year period of time. Everyone had been contacted. We had an opportunity for a public hearing at our last meeting. So this resolution is to give final approval to those charges that will be filed against the taxes for the property owners. So entertain a motion to approve the nuisance abatement schedule.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson.
Second.
Second by Rasmussen. Any discussion? Now please call the roll.
Thompson.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, council, we have the consideration of awarding the contract for our City Hall project. Melanie.
Yeah, bids for the City Hall accessibility project were received on Thursday. There were 3 bidders. The low bid was from SG Construction of Burlington at $183,230. The engineer's estimate, or the architect's estimate on this project was $230,000. There were also bids received from Myers Construction of Mediapolis at $189,890. And then Schaus Voorhees of Fairfield also bid with a bid of $214,700. Obviously, all of them are under the estimate. Klingner has worked with SG before, and they were actually talking about other projects during the bid opening, so I believe they currently have some projects with them as well. And Cindy Larson from Klingner and Associates would recommend SG Construction for the low bid.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. And can you also tell the council the source of funding for this project?
Yes, the leftover grant funding from step 1, the conveyance project, that's USDA funds. There is enough money left over to cover this item as well, or cover the construction as well as the architect's time for this project. So it is grant money that we would be losing if we were not using it for this project.
Great, thank you. So council, first of all, I want to thank the other bidders, Schaus Voorhees and Myers. The recommendation then is to accept the bid of $183,230 from SG Construction for the project. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Toohill,
Second.
second by Gandy. Any discussion? Not, please call the roll.
Toohill.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mel. And we'll stay there because we have a couple of other street improvements.
Yep, we got projects coming into bid, projects going out for application, all kinds of things, or funding. So what you have for you on your next 2 items are applications for funding to the regional planning for state transportation block grant funds. This funding is now at 100% funding. This was previously an 80-20 match. These funds come from, I believe, gas tax that is allocated to the region. Fairfield receives approximately $200,000 of these funds, $200,000 a year, and we've stockpiled quite a bit. I believe the last project we did with these funds was Kirkwood, and before that was D Street. And so it's been a while since we've done a project with these funds. These 2 applications, though, will take out the entire stockpile that we have built up. So the first one that you have for on the agenda is 32nd Street from Jack Pine Loop to Burlington Avenue. We're applying for $768,000 over 2 fiscal years. Probably the thing I would point out on this one is that approximately 20% of the area that we are applying for is owned by the county. And although we don't have it aligned at the time of this agreement, we are going to be working with them on some sort of swap or participating in the funding or something to cover their 20%. We have about a year to do the design, and so we'll be looking at different options that will keep the road open. It's a heavily traveled area, but also then having a good surface that will withstand the large trucks, the heavy trucks that are in that area. So your approval tonight is just recommending the application, and then the application will go to the region for further consideration.
I know we have a regional meeting on Thursday, assuming we would see these applications for approval, so.
No, they're
Not
due
that
the
quickly?
first.
The first, okay.
So it'll be the transportation region, or the transportation committee.
The TAC committee
Yeah.
first, okay.
But these, they're not competitive, right?
No, not this one. They do require that the region stays balanced from year to year. So the only reason we would not be granted these funds would be as if there was a higher priority project in another community that was using that year's funds. I mean, even though there are funds, we stay balanced between each other. In talking with the regional planner, he's not seeing that there's another project that would keep us from being able to do these in 20 and 21.
Okay. And Melanie, I know we were also hoping to stockpile some funds towards the Highway 1 project, the large project that we have for 2022, is it? So are these funds in some way
No,
being used ahead of that?
those funds are already allocated. So when
Already
I say that
allocated in
we're
that year.
using up the balance we have left, that's already taking the Highway 1 stuff off the top.
Got
It's
it.
unrestricted balance.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Melanie? So council, you'll be asked to approve 2 applications, and then it'll go through 2 different committees at Area 15 level before it is finally approved.
And
So-
if you want to do the 32nd, then I can describe what we have to
Okay.
report after.
Great, so entertain a motion then to approve the application for 32nd Street improvements.
A very big yes.
Second.
Moved by Thompson, second by Flournoy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you.
All right, then the next application is for 4th Street from Broadway Avenue to the BNSF right-of-way. This is about a quarter of a mile. This street is wider than some of our others and likely has brick under most of it. So that is being considered in the application as far as the costs associated with having a good base to build this on. What we're looking at is milling 3 inches of the asphalt, doing any patching that is needed to what's underneath, and then laying back 3 inches of asphalt. Also in conjunction with this project, although not part of the STP funds, is we'll be looking at extending water and sewer on 4th Street from Grimes to Depot. That's not part of this application, but the work would be happening at the same time while we have the road torn up and get that done and then put the new asphalt on top of that. And so this application or request is for $447,700, again, over the 2 fiscal years.
Okay. Certainly a needy project that stretches need improvements for a while. So entertain a motion then to approve the application for 4th Street improvements.
Move to approve.
Moved by Rasmussen, second by Flournoy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Next, council, we have a special ordinance regarding our Ragbri visit. And as you read through it, you can see some of the different regulations that we're putting in place that are specific to this event. Michael, I know you brought this to our attention. Do you have any comments on?
Yeah, so this is a template ordinance that the RAGBRAI organizers encourage every city that is a host city, meaning where the riders spend the night, pass these. It's a temporary ordinance. It's only in effect for July 25th and 26th. 25th is the day that the riders in support will arrive. It says 10,000 riders. It's 10,000 riders and usually about 10,000 in support. So our town will grow in population. It'll triple in population for a day. Essentially, it's put in place for a couple of reasons. One is safety. They only want certified vendors serving the riders. So that would exclude somebody cooking up a grill in their front yard and just trying to sell burgers. This must have happened at some point, so these things are often set by precedent. So to serve anything to the riders, you have to have this certified, the license to make food and such. And then, as per usual, when there are organizers of an event, the event organizers charge for vendors. So there's a vendor fee. Since 2013, we kept the nonprofit vendor fee at $350. The commercial fee is at $750 for this year because that's what we found was the average price that the overnight towns from last year charged. And so it might seem a little steep, but a lot of these vendors make quite a good amount of money that day. There's just a lot of people out. One thing to note is the wording of this is such that if, say I have a business and my normal business is inside a certain location, if I sell things in any way outside of that, I would need a vendor fee. So we had 2 downtown businesses that have a brick and mortar location that decided to also have a vendor booth last year, or last time, 2013. I think both ended up regretting it. The RAGBRAI organizers try to emphasize to local vendors, don't try to do anything that you don't normally do. Just do what you normally do and expect a big crowd. And so I know for a fact one of the restaurants that had the vendor booth lost money at the booth, but did great in the restaurant. So the RAGBRAI organizing, the Fairfield RAGBRAI 2019, which is a nonprofit corporation, is in charge of this. We're going to host a meeting for downtown merchants to kind of help people understand the best way to handle RAGBRAI. But it is worded such that if somebody were doing anything, even just outside on the sidewalk, if they're not normally doing business on the sidewalk and they want to do business on the sidewalk, that's a vendor. So this will be kind of cleared up more. But again, temporary ordinance just puts into place some rules and regulations just to keep things orderly and safe for the 20,000 guests that we'll have on July 25th. And then once that's passed, the ordinance will dissipate on its own.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions regarding the ordinance? Now, since this is an ordinance this is first reading, so any intentions to move this along or just go ahead and go through our first reading? Okay,
I don't know if we're in a big rush to get it passed.
Yeah.
I think we just do it normally.
Entertain a motion to pass the 2019 RAGBRAI ordinance from the first to the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Gandy,
Second.
second by Toohill. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Okay, Council, moving to my report, I have a couple of board appointments. The Natty Land, which is kind of a committee that oversees the donated property off of B Street that borders the Pleasant Lake and is essentially a conservation easement that was granted to the city, this piece of land. There's a group that is managing the plan for creating native prairie and trails on that piece of land over time. They've had a couple of difficult years in planting, but they've got some bigger plans this year, so they'll be adding 2 members this evening to that committee. One is Mark Smith, the other Brittany Tiller. So entertain a motion to approve those to join the Natty Committee.
Move to
moved.
approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Rasmussen, second by Thompson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. And the next is appointment to the Airport Board, and that is to replace Tim McMahon, who is stepping down from many years of service on the board. And I would like to recommend Renee Holmber as a new Airport Board member.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson, second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. We'll move to our committee reports. Ways and Means Committee.
Ways and Means met earlier tonight before the council meeting. There was a request to transfer some local option sales tax funds that were initially allocated to the Carnegie Museum for some elevator repairs. And because of the length of what's happening with that, it's not getting done quite as on time as we thought. The request is to transfer those funds to the Carnegie Foundation, so that way they can be held a little longer to allow this work to get done under budget and on a contract.
Great. Okay, thank you, Tom.
And it was a recommendation of the committee to move that on to the council.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the change and transfer.
So moved.
Moved by Rasmussen.
Second.
Second by Thompson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Thank you. And then our next committee would be Water and Sewer.
Water and Sewer met this evening also, and we had 2 requests to discuss. The first one was a sewer reduction request, and the bill was quite large, and it really was primarily a case of we did grant the reduction of the sewer because it only pertained to water, so we felt that he was justified in requesting to be denied the sewer charge. So we are recommending that be granted at this time on 209 North D Street.
Okay.
So that would be our recommendation from the committee.
Okay. So I have a motion by Rasmussen to approve the request at 209. Was that South D? Martha? What?
North D.
North D. Okay.
Yes.
North D.
What's the dollar amount?
Move to approve it.
Thank you. And what, Martha, do you know the dollar amount that
Yes,
that
I'm
represents?
sorry, the dollar
sewer
amount
portion.
is $1,121.46 that will be
Okay.
credited, and that's for the sewer.
Okay.
It was a very large bill, obviously.
Yeah.
And the second request, or the second appeal, which came to the committee, and actually it already has been denied, but Maxine asked the committee to discuss it. And the city administrator had worked with it before, and he felt that it was a denial. So the committee discussed it again, and unfortunately, we feel that at this time, we are not going to approve her request for the denial. So at this time, it will stand as it is, and her bill will be still needing to be paid.
Okay.
And I know that, as I say, it's always a challenge, but this is the request again. And as I say, this is the suggestion, this is the decision that the committee reached. So we're moving that, I would like to move that this be denied.
Okay. So we'll proceed with the first motion, which is to approve the rebate at 209 North D. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gandy. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. And then the second motion is to deny the request as they're on Cardinal Drive.
Move to approve.
That would be motion by Rasmussen to deny the request. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Hallie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you, Martha. Next, Council, we'll move to our administrative reports. Aaron, if you'd like to start us.
Yeah, last week I spent 3 days up in Iowa City with the Iowa Municipal Management Institute. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the council and to the mayor for allowing me to go to these essentially academic conferences that allow me to improve my abilities to help serve the city. Some of the interesting highlights that were at the Institute conference. There was improving relations with the library from the city's perspective, which was actually pretty interesting, and got some good information on how to work better with the library and with their board. Another class was it was an IT class on how to keep viruses from infecting the city's computers. That proved to be pretty interesting and pretty insightful as to what we had happened last fall. There's some things that I'd like to talk about with our IT company now to look at, is there ways to improve what we're doing currently. There was a positive, kind of a leading positive community change class. Talked about how to create hope within a community. There's one good quote out of that class was, if we focus on the past, we will never look forward to fix the future. So those were some positive things coming from that class that I got some insight out from too. So got some good benefits out of going up there for a few days.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. Next, Melanie, you have a project update for us, please.
So it is construction season. We have the contractor for the water main improvements on Madison and Fillmore starting this week, hopefully. So what you have attached to the agenda is a map of the expected construction projects for 2019. My project update has a lot of other projects, but those are projects that are in design and not necessarily under construction. Unfortunately, my project update doesn't correspond well with the map, so I'm going to just go through my project update and touch on the ones that are on the map. The Step 2 sanitary sewer conveyance we have 2 property owners left still to sign. I talked with JCG today, and they really feel it's a matter of just getting the paperwork physically signed and back to us, so that looks good. We would expect bidding on that project to be about 2 months after we get the last easement taken care of. So hopefully very soon I'm going out to bids on this. The wastewater treatment plant, we all know that one's continuing. We do, the substantial completion date on that contract is in August, so, or maybe possibly July, but we will be seeing that project wrap up this construction season. They appear to be on schedule, with the exception of the electrical equipment, but they appear to be on schedule. So that project is going well. Libertyville Road, we already talked about. City Hall, we talked about. One project that is not coming to the council for a public hearing because it is not being bid, it is being done in-house by our water department, is reconstruction of the water main on Highland Street from Jackson Avenue to Harrison Avenue. Again, the city crews are going to be doing this water main this spring. Then Stone Avenue and 8th Street water main replacement. This project's still in design, but this will go out for bid for work hopefully starting shortly after the beginning of the fiscal year. But again, this will be going to bid, so the council will have an opportunity to look at that project. And then something on there that is not a city-funded project, but happening that will be donated to the city once it's complete, is the construction of the Pocket Park or pedestrian mall at the corner of Main and Briggs. This project is being privately funded through a donor, and then they will deed that property to the city once the construction is complete. So I talked to the architect today, and they're hoping to start construction in May. And then a couple other projects that are in design. The Burlington and 9th Street pedestrian improvements that we were awarded the safety grant for. It's still in design, but we do feel like that will be a 2019 construction. The ultimate goal would be to have it constructed in time for the fall school year to begin. Probably will be off by a month on that, but we still, again, hope to have it in this construction season. And then the last one on the map and on my list is the downtown alley reconstruction. The street department is trying to do 2 alleys or 1 block of alleys a year, doing an in-house reconstruction. Last year they did the ones around City Hall. This next year they're looking at the block north of us. So this would be the north-south alley from Burlington to Broadway, and then that half alley from by 2nd Street where I believe there's municipal parking lot right there. So that will be the alley reconstructing happening towards the end of summer. But a lot of sewer projects going on this year.
So not planning to start that before RAGBRAI.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good.
And all of our contracts that are out for bid or that are going to be out for bid, we've included in the specifications about RAGBRAI and that we are not allowing work that week. In fact, we don't even want them to look at water mains that week before RAGBRAI because we don't want to risk a water main break coming up there. So.
Great. Thank you, Melanie.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Melanie regarding her report? Okay. I think finally we'll just mention.
I apologize.
Oh.
Federer's yelling at me. Libertyville Road, they are going to be staking the manholes on that project tomorrow. It's to allow the contractors to get a feel of the project, but that way so the property owners know that there are going to be surveyors on the easement tomorrow.
Great, thank you. And then finally, council, you have on your agenda our spring brush pickup will start Monday, May 6th at 7 a.m. And we ask people to not put anything out prior to April 29th, if possible. That would be a week ahead of time. And we do have a flyer, I think, that will go out in our water bill reminding people what those parameters are for the brush pickup. I'm sure most people are pretty well aware, but we'll have that ready for them. If there isn't any other business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Toohill.
Second.
Second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Meeting adjourned.